Okay, the Detroit Lions are finally making a move that I think all of us have kind of seen coming for a few weeks now, and we've realized it's been a weak spot in our team. But the question is it the right move? So here it is, without further ado. Sideline Report posts that the Jerry Jacobs is finally set to lose playing time as Lions' number 2 quarterback. It's funny that they use the word finally. Usually you don't see reporters using things like that. But here, if we want to actually see what it is, you can kind of see some of the stuff where it's like, yep, this is probably right. Jacobs still played 75% of the snaps. We understand that. Last Sunday, Vildor played 17 snaps, which is 24%, but he directly replaced Jacobs for multiple series. And he did much better. In fact, Jacobs has an awful grade from PFF this year at 57. One of the worst corners in the league. I'll talk about that in just a second. Vildor had 3 tackles with a tackle for a loss. He was limited to cramping. He had a PFF score of 68, while Jacobs had a 47.7. But here I think is what's more important. Dan Campbell was talking about Vildor and just kind of what he did and to see more snaps. And Campbell said this. He said, I thought it was solid. He did some good things for us. There's a few things holding him back, just getting up to speed with our terminology, how we do things. We got to get him caught up a little bit more. But all in all, I thought that he was what we thought he would be. He's competitive, he's smart, and he's pretty crafty. So I want to talk about this for a second and just kind of talk about, like, does this make sense? Is this the guy that we want to replace Jerry Jacobs? Jerry Jacobs, if you look at him on PFF and just kind of who he is, he's 5'11", he's 203. Kindle Vildor, 5'11", 189 pounds. All right, that's what he is. Jerry Jacobs is 26, Vildor, 26. Like, honest to goodness, are they the same player? All right. Jerry Jacobs was drafted in 2021. Vildor was drafted in 2020. Jerry Jacobs was, when I say drafted, I mean, we all know he was an undrafted free agent. Vildor was drafted in the 5th round. So Vildor hasn't had a ton of stuff, but he has an overall grade in PFF this year of 63. Jacobs is 57. Neither are like phenomenal. Jerry Jacobs early on in the season was making plays. He hasn't been doing that anymore. But here's the thing. When you look at the defensive backs for the Detroit Lions, it's not good at the cornerback position. So out of 119 eligible corners, and what I mean by eligible corners is they've played enough snaps to be ranked and eligible. There's 119 cornerbacks who have played enough snaps in the NFL to be rated. Of those 119, Jerry Jacobs ranks 89th. Now, to be a starting caliber corner, you can do that in a couple of different ways. You can say, well, there's technically 64 starting outside corners. Or, because 32 on each team, there's 1 on each or 2 on each team, 32 team, 64. You could also make the argument that there's 96 starting caliber. But you really want to be in that top 64 to be decent. You want to have a player. If you have 3 corners, you want to have, obviously, you want all your players in the top 32, but even normal backfield, you want to have a player in the top 32, you want to have a player in the top 64, and you want to have a player in the top 96. That's how you know you're doing okay. We have a player in the top 32. It's Brian Branch. He's 31st. Then Cam Sutton is 82nd, and Jerry Jacobs is 89th. If Kindle Vildor was able to be rated, he would probably be fitting somewhere in the 70s range, in the early 70s, but he hasn't had enough. So he's a 62.9. Here's the question that I have for all of you. Why is it Kindle Vildor? Why isn't it Stephen Gilmore? Why isn't it the brother of Stephon Gilmore, Stephen Gilmore, who we all saw in the preseason doing some things? Like, why isn't he the guy? Or Khalil Dorsey? Like, why is Vildor just the guy? And are you happy with him being the guy? So this is the move that the Lions made, but here's what I'm here to tell you. I don't think this is necessarily a move of Kindle Vildor is a great corner. I think this is a move of Jerry Jacobs has just been so bad we have to try something else. And yes, I hope Vildor is able to cover a little bit better. Here's what I did see out of Vildor in the game against the Bears. He was good with the short burst and being sticky in coverage. Does he lack some size? Does he lack some top-end speed? Absolutely. So does Jerry Jacobs. All right, but what we all know about Jerry Jacobs is that he's willing to battle. He will battle. He will go to war. And we know that because his run defense grade is almost a 71 and his pass rush is like a 73. Like, he's very good at those types of things. He's a gamer. But he doesn't seem to be playing with that confidence. He doesn't seem to be playing that way when he's in pass defense. Vildor seems to be playing that way in pass defense. So now you have a guy who's a gamer in other areas, but then you have Vildor who's like, no, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to challenge. I think the best example I can give two of them from the Bears game alone. The one just absolute idiotic touchdown that we gave up at the end of the first half, the offsides that ended up being a 39-yard deep ball to DJ Moore, who had gotten like 6 yards behind Jerry Jacobs. He is this gamer, tough-nosed corner that didn't even touch him off the line in press coverage. And then earlier in the game, I don't know if it was earlier or later, and I've talked about this on other videos, he's playing so far back. It was like 3rd and 11, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 13, somewhere in there. He's playing like 15 yards back and in a back pedal. DJ Mortis had to run out, do a very soft out cut, and got a throw that was thrown too high by Fields. He was still able to come down with it, get 2 feet down, get out of bounds before Jerry Jacobs was even close enough to touch him. So he's not playing like a gamer right now. He's not doing what you would expect Jerry Jacobs to do. The problem is there's not a lot of other talent going on in this backfield. We know that Emmanuel Mosley would have easily supplanted him or replaced him or whatever word you want to use. Supplanted? Anyways, he would have already done that if he didn't tear his other ACL. And Brian Branch, I think at this point, would be a better outside cover corner, but he's so valuable in the slot because of his ability to make plays in the box, in the run game, and all of that kind of stuff. He's better in the run defense game than Jerry Jacobs is, so you need him in that position. He's more flexible to be able to guard multiple positions just because he's a little bit bigger. But anyways, and he plays even bigger than that. So the Lions made the move. I think you'll see a lot more of Kindle Vildor this week against the Denver Broncos, and we're going to need him. All right, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.